Welcome Year 2 to our first lesson of English for this week. Today we are going to be looking at the story of The Princess and the Frog. This is our first lesson and we're going to be doing this story for the next 3 weeks. So let's see what the story is going to be about. So here you've got a picture from the story and it's asking you, what do you think this story is going to be about? Now, you might already know the story of The Princess and the Frog. You might have watched the Disney version. This one might be a little bit different than the one you're used to, so let's see what we're going to find in our story. So this is on the front cover of the story, and we've got a castle, so that might be the setting. You've got this girl, who I'm assuming is a princess. You've got a frog here. You've got something which she's throwing up in the air. And you've got a dog. So who do you think are the main characters? What do you think the story is going to be about? Where do you think the story is going to take place? So you can pause the video in a second and you can either tell the screen or you can tell someone in your house, what do you think the video is going to be about? Pause the video now. So did you come up with some good ideas of what do you think the story is going to be about? So I think that this princess might live in this castle and she's met a frog. Maybe she doesn't know the frog's there yet because she's not looking at the frog. And then there's something about this ball. I think it's a ball. It looks like a ball because she's throwing it in the air. So now we're going to have a look. I'm going to meet the characters in the story. So let me tell you the story of The Princess and the Frog, and at home you can join in with the repetition, the bits that repeat. So, The Princess and the Frog. Once upon a time there was a happy princess. She loved to play by the river with her golden ball. One day the golden ball fell into the river. Just then up jumped a frog. "I will get it back if you make me a promise," he said. "I will," the princess promised. "You must let me sit with you, eat with you, and sleep on your bed," said the frog. "I promise," said the princess. So the frog jumped into the river and got the golden ball back. The princess was so happy to have it back. The next day the frog jumped up into the castle. "Princess, I would like to sit with you," he said. "Yuck," said the princess. "If you make a promise, you must keep it," said the king. So the princess let the frog sit with her. Then the frog said, "Princess, I would like to eat with you too." "Yuck," said the princess. "You must keep your promise," said the king. So the princess let the frog eat with her. Then the frog said, "I would like to sleep on your bed too." What do you think the princess said? "Yuck," said the princess. "You must keep your promise," said the king. So the princess let the frog jump on her bed. Just then the frog turned into a prince. The spell had turned him into a frog. The princess had kept her promise and she had broken the spell. The prince and the princess fell in love and they got married, and they kept the golden ball in the castle too. So that was a very nice story. So let's go on to the next slide and see what we're going to do next. So let's have a look back at the story and let's see if we can remember who are the characters in the story. So the first person we meet is the princess. Next, by the river, she meets a frog. Then, back in the castle, we meet a king. And then, at the end, he doesn't like to stand up very well. He keeps falling down. So I've got a prince. So you've got the princess, the frog, the king, and the prince. So what we're going to do now is we're going to tell the story again. So I'm going to take these characters away. And we're going to start and tell the story again. And I'm going to use the characters to help me. So, once upon a time, there was a happy princess. She loved to play with the river, by the river with her golden ball. Here's her golden ball. One day the golden ball fell into the river. Just then up jumped a frog and said, "I will get your ball back if you make me a promise." He said. The princess said, "I will." "You must let me sit with you, eat with you, and sleep on your bed," said the frog. And the princess says, "I promise." So the frog jumped into the river and got the golden ball back. The princess was so happy to have it back. The next day, the frog jumped up to the castle. "Princess, I would like to sit with you," he said. Can you remember what the princess says? She said, "Yuck, yuck," said the princess. And then we have our other character, the king. He says, "If you make a promise, you must keep it," said the king. So the princess let the frog sit with her. Then the frog said, "Princess, I would like to eat with you too." What does the princess say? "Yuck," says the princess. And the king says, "You must keep your promise," said the king. So the princess let the frog eat with her. Then the frog said, "I would like to sleep on your bed too." The princess said, "Yuck." And what does the king say? He says, "You must keep your promise." So the princess let the frog jump on her bed. Just then the frog turned into a prince. A spell had turned him into a frog, and the princess had kept her promise and had broken the spell. The prince and the princess fell in love and got married, and they kept the golden ball in the palace too. The end. So in our story, we only ever have 3 characters at the same time. You can't have the prince and the frog on there at the same time, because at the start of the story, he is a frog and then he turns into a prince. So we only ever have 3 characters in the story at once. At the end of the story, you have the princess, the prince, and the king. And at the beginning, you have the princess, the frog, and the king. There are 4 characters in our story, but we only ever have 3 on at the same time. So this is your task for today. What you're going to do is, you don't have to draw it like I have drawn it. You can do if you want. You are going to work out who the 2 main characters are. This here says main character, and there are 2 main characters. There are 2 main characters. We know there are 4 characters in total, but we're only going to focus on the 2 main characters today. So, who's the first person we meet in the story? Who's the main character? The main character is, tell your screen. The main character is the princess. So what you're going to do, you can draw a picture of the princess, but you also need to write the word princess. Then we are going to, underneath, we're going to write what they wished for. The Princess and the Frog is a wishing tale, and the characters in the story make wishes. So we need to make sure that we know what the characters wished for. So in the story, what did the princess wish for? Tell your screen. Okay, I'll give you a clue of what she wished for. She wished for her golden ball. Now, we're not just going to write golden ball because that isn't a full sentence. We're going to write it in a full sentence. So we're going to start with, the princess wished for... Can you finish the sentence? The princess wished for her golden ball. And we need to add another word on the end because she wanted it back, didn't she? She didn't just want a golden ball. She had one already. She wanted it back. So that's what you're going to write. You can write your own sentence if you want to write it slightly different, that's fine. So here I've written the sentence, the princess, with a capital P for princess, wished for her golden ball back. Okay. in the sentence we have got a capital letter at the start and we have got a full stop at the end, and we've also got a capital for Princess because it's her name. So that's what we need to do. Now the next one, who is the second main character? The second main character is, tell your screen, is the frog. Very good. Now, what did the frog wish for? It doesn't actually tell you in the story, but I think you might be able to use your knowledge of fairy tales or of the story or what happened at the end of the story. What do you think the frog wished for? So let's talk about it. Do you think the frog wanted to be a frog forever? No, I don't think so. Remember, before the story started, he wasn't a frog. What was he before he was a frog? He was a prince, wasn't he? So do you think he wants to be a frog forever? No. So tell your screen, what do you think the frog wanted to wish for? Okay, so now remember, again, with this one, we're not just going to write be a prince or a prince. We need to put it in a full sentence. So you could write, the frog wished to be a prince. Okay, or something similar to that. So in your activity today, you can draw pictures if you want, that's fine, but you also need to write words. So in the top, you're just going to write the names of the character, and then in the bottom bit, you need to write in full sentences, please, with capital letters, full stops, and finger spaces. Okay, remember capital letters also need to be for names. So Princess does have a capital P for Princess. So make sure you take a picture of what you've done today, your work, and you post it on, and I will check it. And then tomorrow we're going to have a live lesson, which means that you're going to be on the computer and you're going to be able to hear me. You won't be able to see me, you'll be able to hear me. I'll be able to hear you. The first time we might take a little bit longer because it's our first time doing a live lesson, but I think it will be a really nice way for us to learn. So I'll see you on Monday for our live lessons. So not Monday, see you on tomorrow, Tuesday, for your live lesson. And I look forward to marking your work today. Bye.